quite a while. I've been thinking of a tutorial that we can do, and I decided we'd learn how to make a seamless pattern just like this one in Procreate. So let's do it. Now, this is one of the tutorials that I'm doing after quite a while on Procreate. I usually did just the screen recording straight from the iPad. So this is, well, a change from a while. Now, I know my filming setup isn't very good and the camera isn't the best thing in the world, but please try and follow as much as you can. Now, this is an image for reference, and what this is just a little cherry pattern. So what we're gonna do is first create a new canvas, obviously, and my canvas is in the square shape, and just for reference, I'm going to give you the dimensions of my canvas. So basically, the physical width is 394 millimeters, and the physical height is 394 millimeters, and the pixel width is 2848 pixels, and the pixel height is 2848 pixels, and the DPI is 134. Basically, it's a square, and you don't need to type in these dimensions to change it. All you need to do is go back to your gallery and click the plus icon, and then go to square, which is basically this shape. And like I said, my filming setup is not the best, but I'm trying to make the best tutorials I can for you guys. Okay, so in terms of brush, you want to go into the brush palette and go into the inking section. And in the inking section, you want to select the studio pen. Honestly, any brush will work, but I like to go with the studio pen to get a finish like this, which is very soft. So if you want that soft finish, then you can go from any brush in the studio pen, in the studio area. Just don't go with this brush, which is Thiaceline. Don't go with this one. Go with any other brush you want from the inking panel. So I'm gonna go with the studio pen. And like I said, my filming setup is not good, so just don't worry. Follow as much as you can. If you can't, then it's okay. We have the reference in the corner there, and you can use that. And if you cannot see the reference properly, it's totally okay. You might be able to see this even better. Okay, so let's begin. What we're gonna start by doing is drawing the first shape. So for that, I'm going to do any color that I want from the palette. Now, for this, there is going to be no specific color palette, and I don't want to do that by linking a color palette in the description box or anything, because I want you to create your own colors and your own pattern. So I'm going to do a design for my baby brother's clothes, which I'm going to import into an app which will create the clothes. So for this, if you want to go with a pattern like I'm doing, which is that baby pattern, then you can go with a color that is, say, bright. So what I'm going to do in this little selection over here and the classic section, I'm going to pick my color. So I'm going to pick maybe like a neon green, and I'm going with the studio pen. As you can see, it's beautiful. And with the studio pen, I'm going to set my size to full. And when I'm making something bright, I usually like to go into the wrench icon, which is the top over there, and go to prefs and turn on light interface, which is basically the light mode in Procreate. So if we go to prefs in the wrench icon, the top, and turn on light interface, we get this brighter interface, which is better to work with. I feel it's better to work with when I'm making patterns. Okay, so let's begin. I'm going to draw my first shape. So maybe in the corner, maybe over here, I'm going to zoom it in a little bit. And I'm going to do, say, let's see. We can do something which will be fun. So I'm going to go with a star. And for that, I'm going to either drag and drop on sections of the star to fill it in, which is pretty much just being lazy, because you can just simply manually fill it in. Now, a pattern, you cannot just draw another star. It's going to come out entirely different, and that is just going to spoil the entire pattern, and we don't want that. So what we're going to do after we're done with our star, we're going to click this little S next to the arrow tool on the top, And once that's done, I'm going to set it to freehand and then zoom in and just outline my star very, very roughly. As you can see, I'm outlining it extremely roughly, but you want to then connect it to the little dot. After that's done, do not deselect this, just select this again so both of them will be selected. Now I can move this around. So if I want to move it around the screen, I can do that. Or we can go back to the selection tool. If you don't want to move it around, if you're happy with its position, then you can leave it. But once you're going in selection, we're going to make another selection of the star. And then you see the little gray dot that appears. Yeah, so we're going to just click on the gray dot. And then you'll get these like diagonal lines on my screen. But then I'm going to take 3 different fingers, any, and then just swipe down on my screen. And then I will see copy and paste. So just click the little plus copy. Don't click copy all, just click copy. And then your selection will be copied. And basically what that will do is that this star will be copied. Alright, so once that's done, take another 3 fingers and swipe down and click paste. Now your star will be pasted and you will get a duplicate copy of your star. And this is really helpful because you don't have to focus on the exact shape of your star to do it again. For this, once that's done, I'm just going to deselect that. And then we're going to do a little magic trick. We want this to be colorful because we're doing something for a baby. But obviously you can have whatever shape you want and whatever selection you want. But what we're going to do is go back to our layers panel. And you will see that you will have a new layer called inserted image. So layer 1 will be different and inserted image will be different. So we're on a whole different layer now. And once we're on a whole different layer, we can do whole different layer settings. So for that, I'm going to go into the the little magic wand icon, the one with the stick and the little stars. I'm going to give a click on that and you can see that I have gone into my menu. And in my menu, I'm just gonna go into the very top option, which is hue, saturation, brightness. Now you get a little drop down from there. You wanna click layer and not pencil. So give that a click. Now we'll see this little menu on the bottom. And this is very simple. What we need to do now is just use our Apple Pencil, whatever we're using, and just change the hue. And what this is gonna do is whatever's on that layer, the hue will change. The hue is basically the color. So I want to set mine maybe to 18%, which will change the star color to pink, or maybe 66%, which will change it to the green. So I'm going to set it to 75%. Honestly, do not copy what I'm doing. Do not. It's just going to be weird and change out differently with what color you started with. So now I've got this blue. I'm going to deselect that. But don't deselect it yet. In case you want to change the brightness, do that. You might want to do that to change the color and the saturation too. So I'm changing that, and then I'm going to properly deselect. Then I'm going to zoom in on my blue star and just do the same thing that we did for the green star, and then swipe down and click copy. And once that's done, I'm going to go again 3 swipes down and click paste. Now my blue star is copied and pasted, and I'll put it in the corner of my screen, anywhere you want. And then I'm going to go ahead and deselect it. Once that's done, you will see that another inserted image layer has come up. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the magic wand icon and go to hue, saturation, brightness, layer, same thing. And I can change the color according to what I want it to be. And then deselect it. So this way we can keep creating different stars to continue our pattern. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to I'm not going to select it again, and you don't have to keep selecting and copying it. What you can do is 3-finger swipe again and click paste. The blue star will be pasted again. So that's just a little tip, and again, a new layer will be done every time you paste something. So now I'm gonna go back to the layer, change my hue. Honestly, doesn't matter. Whatever color you want, make it. So I'm gonna do it a little quickly now because you guys know the drill now, and you guys are experts by now because you've watched this video up to 10 minutes. So you guys know what we're doing. So good job if you've gotten this far. So I'm gonna speed up my process a little bit. I'm not speeding up the video. This is actually how my actual speed is. Oh, this is actually how my actual speed is. So this is how I'm going. Like I said, you're an expert now. You know what to do. You don't have to panic. So and again, hue, saturation, brightness, layer, and I can change my saturation and my brightness. And you can see now that I am slowly making this pattern. And then if you are seeing it just bothering you not being able to put it when you're in uniform, 1 minute, that it's totally fine. You can go to freeform and you can put it whenever you want without anything exactly bothering you that much. Okay, like I said, we're gonna go back to hue, saturation, brightness, layer. As you can see, a bunch of a million layers have been created automatically without me doing a thing. So yeah, and brightness. As you can see, I am fiddling with it and just creating my own little pattern. Like I'm saying, yeah. Once that's done, we're just gonna keep going ahead and ahead, and creating the pattern as we go. So, creating the pattern as we go. And here's a tip. Don't try and worry about whether this space has more or that space has more. It doesn't really that much matter. It's totally fine. Do not worry. Okay, so once you've got something, we're gonna go in with the fillers. So we're gonna click the plus to add a new layer and click the rename option and then rename it to fillers. Basically what this is going to do is fill in the empty gaps of your drawing. So now I'm gonna select black, a pure black to do this. And I'm gonna go in with little just polka dots. Basically, just scatter different polka dots around our screen. Different polka dots. This is optional. You can do hearts, you can do stars, you can do leaves if you're doing, a fruit maybe as your shape. And don't worry if they're on the same size or anything. It doesn't matter. You can fix that. And I'll show you a tip. If one of the dots doesn't come out, say as you want it to come out, then here's a little tip for you. You can click the S, and I'll show you. I'll just click the little S for the selection tool and say I don't like where this blob is, so I'm just gonna select that and then go on to the arrow tool so I can move and resize my blob. Say I want it to rotate a little bit. I don't like the shape of it. So that was how to create a nice pattern in Procreate. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I hope it made you create a pattern like I did. And this is pretty much done. But if you want to do one last thing, you can go and click on the background color layer and change your background color, but I like white, so yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Goodbye.